Okay, we're here at Better Blokes in Canberra, chatting with Pastor Jeff from Sandgate Uniting Church. He's a bit of a bush poet. He's been doing some poetry and some Bible stories across the weekend. Actually, give us the rundown. What's the name of the Bible stories you tell?
I tell them in the name of the story catcher, just catching God's story and then telling it for God's people.
And what's the Hebrew word for it?
One of the forms of story is called a midrash. Just taking a passage from the scripture, finding an element in it, like our creation story, that we lost home and we've been on this journey to find it back home. That's a midrash on our creation story.
Fantastic. Now, you came to Christ at the age of 19. Tell us how that happened.
I was at university and realised that if I kept living the way I was doing it at university, that my life was just going to go downhill all the way. And I was sitting in my room one Sunday night and I just felt the Lord saying, Jeff, if you go one step further, you'll go down the slippery slide and you won't stop till you hit the bottom. So I just turned around and gave my life to Christ that night.
And tell us, what was the big change in your life after that?
Well, at that stage I was in the Catholic Church and I'd always felt before that God had been invited me to be a Catholic priest, so I rang up the Franciscan seminary the next day and asked could I join, and after a shorter period of discernment they said yes. So soon after that I spent 2 years in a Franciscan monastery and was really blessed. It was a really formative part of my spiritual life.
Okay, and what did you do after that?
Well, it seemed God didn't want me with the Franciscans, and I'd met Catholic charismatics in the meantime and became involved in charismatic renewal in the Catholic Church. Met the woman who'd become my wife there, a few other people. So as well as prayer meetings, we put all our money together, lived in common and just lived in this community like they tried to do in the beginning of Acts. One car, one bank account and about a half a dozen of us trying to live this covenant community life as charismatic Catholic people. And in the midst of that, we started organising conferences, went and worked with an organisation called Temple Trust, which was a non-denominational Catholic or charismatic organisation. Got invited to teach in their Bible college, so here's this Catholic teaching in what was ostensibly an AOG Bible college back those days, street witnessing with Baptists, and just out there on fire as a young man of God.
And what does your ministry look like now? What do you do these days?
I work in storytelling. I trained as a spiritual director. One of my great delights is just being a spiritual companion to people. I mentor a couple of other pastors and been drawn a lot more into men's work. In ministry, I've become involved in the local men's shed and blessed to be able to chair that and just be there. I guess some of them see me as their unofficial chaplain. I do some work where I help facilitate a retreat for men each year. We take a bunch of guys away for a retreat down at Binnaburra, and we just spend time as a bunch of men walking prayerfully and contemplatively in the bush. And when we get into the rhythm of God, God does some wonderful things amongst those men. This coming week, I'm helping to facilitate a male suicide awareness program. I'm not the presenter, but this is such an important and powerful thing. I really want the churches to say, yes, we need to be part of helping to solve this problem.
I heard you talking yesterday at Better Blokes about contemplative walking and walking with the Lord out in the bush. And I thought, I haven't really had a chance to get out this weekend. I've been a bit crook. This morning I woke up 4:30, couldn't get back to sleep. Thought I'll go for a walk. So at 5 a.m, I was just heading out and met an old fella named George.
Yep.
Who's a Scottish fella who loves his bushwalking and journeying with God. And so we went on a big 1 hour walk, and I started with a torch on, and he goes, no, turn that off. And we just walked in the dark. We just, by the moonlight, in the fog, and we started rushing off. And he goes, mate, slow down. There's no rush. And I thought, wow, that's the most important message I've had all weekend. We just got to learn to slow down and enjoy God's creation, don't we?
Well, George is part of that men's retreat group. We call it Soul to Soul, S-O-L-E to S-O-U-L. And the idea is to slow down to catch up to God, and to slow down into the rhythm of God, slow down into the rhythm of our body. And people get a bit scared about the word contemplation, but in essence it really is to stop thinking with our head and to start listening with our heart and to be still and know that I am God. And in a sense put ourselves in a place where we can pay attention and stop this incessant chatter in our head and to listen. and to be present and just walk with God, like it says in Genesis. We would walk with God in the cool of the evening. Well, why would you, when you're walking with God, spend a whole lot of time thinking about him when you can enjoy his presence? So, yeah, slow down into the rhythm and presence of God.
So good, mate. Well, God bless you. If people want to find out more about your ministry, is there a website or anything they can go to?
The website's under construction. I work under the ministry name of the Storycatcher, so I guess now I'll have to make sure that website gets up and running, and it'll be www.thestorycatcher.com.au, or they can try and find me somewhere through the Sandgate Uniting Church.
Yeah. Good on you, mate. Thanks for your time. God bless.
God bless you. Thank you, Matt.